Release our two-deep depth chart later on this afternoon, but we had a really long scrimmage, and I think we got a lot of really good work done, some really good evaluation, and I'll hold comments on that until you get the depth chart, and you can ask me about it tomorrow. But the with the change of rule of the freshmen being able to play for 4 games, that changes some of our thought process on what guys may play. It's not so much a critical decision on 2 deep, but it's what guys that will work in to get some meaningful reps in case we do need to play them. As far as today's practice, it was not a full padded practice. There was a lot of mental work, yet there's a lot of physical work to be done. The scrimmage, we did have one concussion. Trey Smith had a concussion, and so he'll be going through this protocol. Blaine Breaker's in that as well, and how fast they progress, that's entirely up to Dr. Boyer in sports medicine. But, we're in hopes that they make their way back. We sustained some bumps and bruises, but outside of that, I thought we were pretty healthy, and we were over 100 and some plays. So we're pleased with that, and we got some good game experience. We thought Titus Swain really did some explosive things in the running game, and he's got to work on some other things, but he really showed some ability to make some nice cuts and to make some people miss, and so you can count on him. He'll be playing in the first game, and we think he's ready for that. He still needs to practice some, but he certainly has good ability. So with that all being said, I'll open it up to any questions.
What else stood out to you, good, bad, or even indifferent from the scrimmage, other than some things you've addressed?
Some of the stuff, I think we're faster on defense, and our team speed is showing from that standpoint. We're not nearly as experienced, and, some of that comes into the guys that we had on our defensive line. We were really experienced there last year. And the other thing that did show up, though, Rome Weber really did a great job, and he's going to slide into the starting spot, the starting free safety. And so we're pleased with that. There's been a good battle with him and Braden, but he's been making plays, and he came out and he really played well. And those positions are typically tough to evaluate in practice because can the guy make a play one-on-one in a contested situation, whether he's making a play in open field tackle or going up for the ball, and he showed and he answered the bell, so we were pleased with that. Rocket Ishmael really made an explosive play for a touchdown where he caught the ball and broke away from some people, and so he's learning more, and so we're going to utilize his skill set.
How much does Rome's elevation have to do with Braden's hamstring?
We measured that, but Braden had gotten to the point where he was getting pretty healthy. He was still taking reps, and his GPS speed had begun to rise, so he was feeling pretty good. So, both of those guys are going to be playing, but we're encouraged by where they're at, and we're really encouraged by what Rome did.
Craig, I know in the interior defensive line, it's the depth's a little thin. Did any other guys kind of emerge or show that maybe they can get in the rotation from the scrimmage or anything like that, or are you still kind of with that 3-man rotation at this point?
No, you know what? Cole Goodbout showed up, and he's a guy that we've been waiting to come. He redshirted last year. He's put on some good weight. He was disruptive, and I would say of all the guys, they're playing well, but he's the guy that exceeded some of my expectations and our expectations.
Are there any guys you held out of the scrimmage?
Logan Wilson didn't scrimmage.
Okay.
That was it.
How'd your quarterbacks do?
I thought well. Our percentage completions were good. Decision making was good. They certainly can improve. They were not live, and that's always kind of handcuffs those guys a little bit. But I thought all 3 of them played pretty well.
I know you talked a lot about receivers and wanting to see other guys make contested catches. Did you see any of that on Saturday?
As soon as I say no, there'll probably be one I forgot about, but I don't really recall, one that, where we had a couple. Well, you weren't here during that period, but we had some receivers that are playing in the NFL right now. I didn't see any of that. They made some nice catches, and I said Rocket's play was good. He separated from people, but it wasn't like a contested play.
I know you've mentioned Trayton Welsh quite a bit during camp.
He was a guy that had a contested catch, Trayton Welsh, and he's going to be a guy that we're going to play.
Okay.
We'll play a lot of tight ends.
Right.
He's not risen to the top, but he's a guy that will end up playing this year.
See a guy that's a little more versatile that you can put out in the slot and try to get some mismatches? And that,
We can do some of that. We've done that in the past, and then he can play a traditional tight end. The other comment I do want to make, Ryan Galovich will be our starting punter, and you'll get that, but that's kind of noted.
Yeah.
We've been going through a pretty contested battle on that, and I think he's striking the ball well.
Has there been any consideration of moving Dante back there and losing him at punter again at all?
Not really. The problem that we had, he strikes the ball so hard that actually what happens is he got a pretty significant muscle tear, and we think we're probably going to have that again. And so I think we're going to keep him right where he's at.
As you get into the last week of camp, like I said, you're having a depth chart later today, but sure, there's work to be done. Is it a lot of evaluation work? Is it more mental work? Is it game prep work?
It's game. We're going to start to get into game prep stuff, and still some fundamental work, and particularly the younger players have got to get some more fundamental work. But we've kind of evaluated where we're at. Now we're going to take those guys and get those guys ready to play.
Do you know who your fourth and fifth linebackers are at this point?
Well, I can say Ben Wisdorf
Yeah.
is in there. He's our fourth. Chad Muma's our third. So that's kind of where we're at. Our fifth. We're still up in the air a little bit.
How's the progression with at left guard with Pat and Big E?
We thought Patrick Arnold really played well in the scrimmage. Big E is challenging. There's things that both of them do well. Both of them need to play better, but we're pleased with the two guys there.
And your tackle depth behind your two starters, is Frank Crum still coming along, or anyone else?
Yeah, Frank came along. He got a lot of reps. We did not. Rudy Stouffer missed. He had his sister got married, so that was good for him to be at his sister's wedding, which I think is important. And then we held Alonzo Velasquez out, and so Frank got a lot of reps, and he's doing pretty well. Got a hard job.